Okay, so our next money maker can only be done on Wednesday and Saturdays. If you press N, you'll see on the calendar here, it'll say World Boss at 12 p.m. server time, so that's right here. Wednesdays and Saturdays are Lucas specific. Click this NPC here in SES City, click Games, and then Mini Games. You have to be at least level 30 to enter. Now the reason we're talking about Lucas is because his drops are really good and they sell for quite a bit. The tail and the shoulder sell for 3k and the mace sells for 10k. If you're lucky enough to get the eye, it sells for up to 500k or more. The shield sells for I think 300. It's not too bad, but it does drop pretty often. And then you can get, of course, one of each stone. Now on the forging, I think me and most other players think the only ones that are necessary are the level 40 armor and pants. And the reason we say that is because the hats, you get a better version of a hat later on. And same with the weapons, you get a really good one at level 50. And then the master cards are okay. They're good for that level, but they're not necessary. Same with the shields. So if you don't care really about anything else on the forge and the mount over on the left side here, then I would recommend selling the mace and everything you get here, just because it is a great money maker. Alright, so once you're in here, go to this NPC. Her quest is kill Lucas once and then turn in 30 Werekin fluff. Make sure you have a lot of people fighting Lucas, especially some top level players. It'll be a lot easier for you to kill. You need at least 10% in order to get the drop, and you need 6 free slots open, and that's including these drops or the mobs here. 6 including that. What else? Not too much else with him. He can turn you into a rabbit. Just do the potions to get yourself out of that. You can drop your attack down, your defense down. If you contain him up here, it's nice because you don't have to worry about the mobs really. You just turn in the quest right away. So pretty good money maker for Wednesday and Saturday. Just make sure you can show up on time if possible. I'd like for it to be on a different time zone too for other players. It would be nice. So hopefully in the future we can do that. Alright, so this next way is material gathering, both for yourself and to sell to other players. For yourself, it's for item buffs, and that will save you potions in the long run, which also saves you money. So the one you can get the easiest is the Gumby Eye Puree. The eye drops 100% of the time from the first boss you encounter, Master Gumby, and then in Hollorum Garden, which is from Essia right up and then left 2 in the Hollorum Garden. And that is Master Gumber, not to be confused with the other one, but they both have 100% eye drop. And if you have stuff from earlier, some of the wheat, which is pretty much anywhere on the overworld and in towns, and then this can be found in SES City at the bottom right artisan shop here. So super simple to make, and you get 10 each time you do it. So if you practice enough, there's a certain time limit. I think it's 3 or 4 seconds between healing, or it'll heal you 150, and then that happens for a duration of 120 seconds. So you hit the enemy, walk away, yada yada, and save yourself a lot in potions once you get used to it. Alright, so the next item buffs we're going to talk about, in order to get them you have to buy them from other players, but if you're trying to farm them you have to be at least level 26 or higher. And for this one specifically, you have to be level 30 to face the enemy. But these are the best in the game, and this one in particular to me is easier to get once you get to this level than Super Snail, because you have to dig this in the Gaia Cave, so it's not as quick as just farming the cherries and everything, because you're already farming bear meat and the egg for this as well. So in order to get the bear meat, it's simple, just this Rokkun bear up on these 2 maps here. I think that's 3 actually, but pretty easy. They put a lot more up here than there were before. The best map is this one or the Temple of Hawks. Okay, so this next spot, you're going to be facing the level 30 enemy that drops the egg. and this is right outside of Golden, so you don't need to be you don't need to have access to Golden to do this. Just go from Essia, keep going left till you end up at the Golden entrance. And you can also get the cherries from here. They have the same drop chance as the wheat, so you can get up to 3. So if you're not quite high enough to get the enemies, you can just at least farm the cherries. And the Goonie also drops silkworm, so that's nice for crafting later. Alright, so the next one are the 3 item buffs you can get here. And we'll go over them in order. So the sap you can actually get from the Stokium, which is one right of King Gummy here in the Rokkun cave. The Kabbalah fish drops from the Necrobear, which is left of King Gummy right here. And the Gummy Slime's already going to drop from King Gummy. He usually drops more than 1. Now the Necrobear also drops Necro Meat, which can be combined into a sweet cube. Essentially just a potion. It'll save you money there so you don't have to buy them. And then finally the Moly here. Old seeds drop from the Necrobear already. And you should have green wing from facing the bird. Next ones are the best defensive buffs in the game. Regular defense and magic defense. If you're level 33, you can farm the red mushrooms. If you're level 36, you can farm the blue ones as well. So if you're on those levels, you can farm the mushrooms for the players to sell. Or if you're farming them for yourself, you have to be at least level 50 in order to farm this item. So while you're doing this, I'd recommend, and this is just me, because you can do this quest here, which asks for 100 of the Banguas, and then 100 of the blue mushroom, and finally 100 of the Treeko, which if you'll notice, the Treeko leaf is a item we need for the taco here, which is the max HP buff. So you can get XP while you're doing it. The only downside is, to be more efficient, you have to have the Terion warp, because the Treeko, if you warp here, they're right next to them on Golden Beach. Otherwise, they're at the crossroads of the forest. So if you don't have the warp to Terion, you basically go from here, the mushroom nest, to fight the red ones, then left to fight the blue ones, and then up to fight the Treekos, but there's not many on this map. You could, however, walk over. It just takes longer, but there's a lot more on this map right here. Also, every one of these mushrooms drop the mushroom spit, the red and the blue ones. And if you're farming cherry from earlier, it combines into an HP one that's similar to the pink cube or the sweet cube. They're both plus 250. So again, another way to save money on potions. Okay, avocados are located on High Tide, and that's for our damage recipe. So if you go to Golem, take a left, go down. And I wouldn't recommend this unless you have a good hatchet. And for the tree cutting, seed booster helps for these two because they're really close. It's not necessary. I would have a few points in fruitful that helps with avocado chance, but hatch strike's going to be the winner here as far as cut time. And there's a few trees on this island, like for example there's 2 here. If you go to the right, there's a couple, so you can go in between them. But if you have the seed booster and hatch strike, you can go in between these two pretty nicely. And finally, our last one is on the Essia beach. From Essia, go right, go down all the way to this little corner here, and there's this little tiny shortcut where you can get to the edge of the beach here. And the Krobi, they drop the Krobi Pincer, which you need for the magic damage buff. And it'd be cool if these in particular dropped avocado and the other ones drop banana, just because it'd be easier to farm for newer players to sell to older players. I think there's kind of a market there that is not explored. And of course you can come to the Essia City and sell them to players. You can sell them on the Discord trade channel. I know, for example, my friend Rexiel here buys a lot of the stuff that was mentioned in this video, so feel free to reach out. I buy some of the stuff sometimes, especially avocado.